Welcome to the 2018 graduation ceremonies for Centers for Spiritual Living, School of Spiritual Leadership, and Holmes Institute, San Diego campus. Please welcome the practitioners of our host center, Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, with Trudy Seifke as light bearer for our ceremony today. Practitioners of the Centers for Spiritual Living. This is all other practitioners, with the exception of some of the individual centers. So anyone here? The practitioners of Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. Centers for Spiritual Living, online practitioner education. The practitioner graduates of the Centers for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. Centers for Spiritual Living, online practitioner education. Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. The practitioners of Centers for Spiritual Living, online practitioner education. Practitioners of Universal Spirit Center, San Diego. Practitioners for Vision, the Center for Spiritual Living, San Diego. The ministerial students from the School of Spiritual Leadership, San Diego campus. The remaining practitioners. Reverend Sharon Hudson, field leader, Centers for Spiritual Living. Reverend Dr. Michelle Medrano, Senior Associate Minister and Dean, Mile High Church in Denver. And our own, Dr. Kathy Hearn, Dean, School of Spiritual Leadership, Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. Dr. Christian Sorensen, Director, School of Spiritual Leadership and Spiritual Leader, Seaside. Reverend Dr. Arthur Chang, Senior Minister, Founders Church. Reverend Juanita Gardner, Lead Practitioner, Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Kevin Busey, Senior Minister, Universal Spirit Center. Reverend Patty Paris, Senior Minister, Vision, a Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Dr. Christina Tellison, Distance Education Dean, Holmes Institute and Center for Spiritual Living. Dr. Robert Brzezinski, Staff Minister, CSL Online Education Program. Reverend Guy Williams, Spiritual Director, Hilltop Center, and also Fallbrook and Tijuana, Mexico. Reverend Dr. Catherine Economo, Senior Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. Reverend Sandy Moore, Founding Minister, In Spirit, Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Laura Hallett, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, Acting Spiritual Director, Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Rhonda Tretzvin, Senior Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Hemet. Reverend Dr. Penny Masick, Minister at Large, The Deep Works. Reverend Kathleen Sibley, Senior Minister, CSL Prescott. Reverend Michael Heinley, Senior Minister, Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Jesse Hobby, Reverend Jerry Hobby, Spiritual Director, Spiritual Enlightenment and Truth Focus Ministry. Reverend Michelle Ingalls, Senior Minister, One Heart, One Mind, CSL. Reverend Kristen Kephart, Senior Minister, CSL Camarillo. Reverend Kirk Moore, Music Director, Co-Minister, In Spirit Center. Reverend Dr. Bill Salisbury, Assistant Minister, Hemet, CSL. Reverend Maureen McGilligot, Co-Minister, Idlewild, CSL. Reverend Lori Sheets, Community Minister. Reverend Jeannie Phillips, Staff Minister, Vision, CSL. My personal favorite, Reverend Robin Holt, Spiritual Leader, Sydney, Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Sam Flynn, Vision, the Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Dr. Linda McNamara, Senior Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Laguna Woods. Reverend Scott Olson, Assistant Minister, Laguna Woods, CSL. Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister, Mountainside Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Dr. Roger Julien, retired, Hefferland Foundation, In Spirit, CSL, Mission Viejo, California. Reverend Nicole Merges, Education Manager, Centers for Spiritual Living, Home Office. Reverend James Peake. Reverend Patty Mercado, Assistant Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley, and CSL Global Services. Reverend Kate DeVivier, Co-Spiritual Leader, CSL Carlsbad. Dr. Victoria Bomberry. Dr. Michael Brandman. Pam Cosby Brandman. These are the ministerial graduates for 2018. Sonia Byrne. Chaplain Carolyn Flanders. Leslie Goodwin. Rosedale Jones. Karen Lewis. Joy Lovejoy. Rebecca Vincontraman. Nicole Van Attingen. And Kim Jera Whittington. Big hand for everybody.
And all you distinguished guests, you may have a seat now. And that is the wonderful community choir under the direction of Sasha. Members from all the various communities here in Southern California. How great. And good afternoon, everyone. Woo! What an exciting day that is here to be among our future colleagues and the new graduating practitioners, and to be able to stand together to witness an amazing moment within the history of our movement. For today, our movement is uplifted because of this commencement, because of this portal in time that is opening up. We have new ministers and new practitioners that are joining that ecclesiastical consciousness. And so the wonderful dean for the School of Spiritual Leadership here at the San Diego campus is truly one of the star throwers of our movement. She is cast before us to be lights upon the path for this emerging thought for decades now. And no, but her gorgeous looks is a testimony to an individual practicing the presence. Using religious science. You know that questionnaire, what do they do to prove that they've got it? She's got it, that's for sure. I like to think of Dr. Kathy as the high priestess of our movement. She is our past spiritual leader, the one who lives in those upper spheres of consciousness, truly one who is there at the mountaintop and has a high view of what is possible. And as she looks upon those entering into the school of ministry, she can see the stars, and she is able to stoke their fire and cast them towards the world. And so please join me in welcoming to our stage the past community spiritual leader, the dean of this school of spiritual leadership, and our hostess this evening, that is the wonderful Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn.
Thank you so very much. You see why I have Dr. Christian come up to introduce me, right? I'm not sure about that decades thing, though. Anyway, good afternoon. It's just a delight to have you here today, and I want to thank Rick Merica for being the voice of God live from Australia. Thank you, Rick. And thank you, Trudy Seifke, for being our light bearer, and for our Seaside practitioners for creating a container of consciousness for us. We appreciate that so very much. And so it's a joy to welcome you here today for this special time that honors the years of work that our beloved graduates have engaged in order to be here today. And you know, we all are here because we love someone who's graduating. And perhaps many someones, in my case, yes, in my case. So our organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, values spiritual education. We value the learning of spiritual principles along with some of the highest thought in the world so that we may open up our awareness to the unity of all life, to the sacredness of creation, to the divinity and the wholeness of our individual being, to the creative power of thought, and to our grand possibility and actuality of being able to shape our lives for love and happiness and prosperity and great contribution to the world, and then to support other people in doing that. And that's why we are here today, and that in a nutshell is our education program. So our ceremony marks the completion of this time of these beloved graduates. Now I just need all the words today. And it's very meaningful that you have chosen to be here today to commemorate the significant moment in your loved ones' lives. They are reaching a new high level of attainment, and you have been part of their process, and so it's your celebration today as well. So we are celebrating today 22 practitioner graduates from 4 Southern California centers and from the online practitioner program with graduates from California and 6 other states. So let's hear it for the online program and everybody. We're celebrating 11 new ministerial graduates from this campus and 1 Master's in Consciousness graduate from the Holmes Institute. We are very honored to have Reverend Sharon Hudson with us today. She is the field leader of Centers for Spiritual Living. So she is our CSL representative, and she was just elected to her position this last February, so it's very exciting. And I'm also thrilled to acknowledge Dr. Michelle Medrano from Mile High Church, who is here with us behind the choir. She will be giving the call to ministry. And we have Reverend Juanita Gardner, who is in the front, who is from Seal Beach, who will be giving the practitioner call. It's a joy to have you here, Reverend Juanita. Our special musician for today is Denise Rosier. She's a much-loved musician. I know she sang this morning at services. I'll have more to say about her in a little bit. And of course, we have our wonderful San Diego Community Choir with members from Vision and from Seaside and also from One Heart, One Mind. So thank you. And they're under the direction of Sasha Pizer and James Vandenberg. Let's welcome them and acknowledge them. And so we're going to begin a great flow here, and we will have an invocation with Dr. Arthur Chang from Founders Church of Religious Science. We'll move into music with the choir directed by James Vandenberg from Vision, and then into the Declaration of Principles and the Global Vision with Dr. Catherine Economo and Reverend Guy Williams. And then Reverend Sandy Moore will come up to do the honoring and recognition. And those of you whose names I just said, please come on up when it's your time. So here we go. Dr. Arthur, would you please come up?
Good afternoon. You look wonderfully well and alive and ready for something to happen. Yes? Yes. Well, as much as you like looking, I would like you to close your eyes. And I would like for you to enter the divine dark, that absoluteness of God without bounds. When we stand before the crucial threshold of our lives, we will find our old rituals no longer protect and guide us into the new unknown territories. We may be haunted by Jesus' words that those who put their hands on the plow and look back are not worthy of the kingdom of God. Yet, like Lot's wife, we can hardly help the impetus to glance back at the burning cities of relationships we may be leaving behind to take this further journey into sacred awareness. Yet the blessing is our willingness to go. For we stand in the awe of this life-altering threshold moment, like Isaiah standing before the throne of God, standing in the divine presence, as it were, where the visionary moment of the heart opens up a new world, and where today our graduates stand. The words of Isaiah 6:8 resound in our minds. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?" And I said, "Here I am, send me." Like Isaiah, our graduates are blessed by saying, "Send us, we will go." Such acquiescence is a quiet blessing, which falls like gentle rain upon the field of our consciousness. Blessing of our ancestors, such as Ernest Holmes and others, blessing our organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, blessing families, friends, congregants, teachers, and well-wishers and volunteers, and blessing the Seaside CSL and its family, blessing for all their outpouring of this transformative love that words cannot reach. We bless our graduates for the action they will take as Ernest Holmes intended. At this threshold of taking action, Dr. Holmes wrote in a wonderful book called Good for You, Take Action, page 105. It would not be normal to spend one's old time meditating and praying. The belief in the advisability in doing so arises from one's attempt to separate oneself from the world in which one lives. Meditation should stimulate the intellect to a renewed objective action. We should swing from prayer to performance, from meditation to action, from contemplation to accomplishment. Finally, I want to close with a wonderful blessing poem by John O'Donohue, the great mystic, ex-priest, and philosopher. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has quietly formed, waiting until you are ready to emerge. For a long time, It has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you have outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight, when your courage kindled, and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude open before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promises of this opening, unfurling yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon, you will be home in a new rhythm. For your soul senses the world that awaits you. And so I say to you, graduates, bless you all for this day. For your souls are refreshed with what the science of mind difference will make by your action in this world. God bless you all.
Soon you'll start Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Catherine Economo, and this is Guy Williams. And hey, Guy,
Yes, dear.
do you know that this podium used to be Ernest Holmes?
I did.
You did? And how perfect it is that we're actually going to be reading and sharing the Declaration of Principles written by Ernest Holmes from his own podium. Isn't that kind of cool?
It's about as close as we'll ever get.
I think so. And also, Reverend Guy will be sharing the global vision of the Centers for Spiritual Living. And so these are the principles and ideas upon which we stand. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We know that there is one life everywhere expressing its infinite nature, and that this life is called many things: universal intelligence, beauty, infinite abundance, El Shaddai, peace, spirit, joy, creativity, or simply God.
We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit.
We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We demonstrate the oneness of spirit in everything that we do, knowing that this oneness is inclusive of race, age, ethnicity, culture, history, religion, political affiliation, experience, gender, and sexual orientation.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding.
We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where each and every person discovers his or her own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone.
We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it.
We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with the highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other.
We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all.
We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm.
We believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God.
We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family, a world where kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there's generous and continuous sharing of these resources.
We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence.
We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of political, corporate, academic, and social sector. We include everyone in our vision of a peaceful, loving world.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of the individual, and that any person may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We stand together in a shared commitment and devotion to our spiritual principles, practices, and values.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it.
We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics.
We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind.
We teach spiritual solutions and practices to address the everyday challenges of life, encouraging all of our members to live courageous, fearless lives and to be passionate about life and its possibilities.
We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness and the eternal givingness of life to all.
We are a community empowered with the realization of unity and wholeness, from which flows the ultimate healing power of forgiveness and love. We are known for the love we share throughout our community and the world.
We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Dr. Catherine and Dr. Guy, for reminding us why we're here, the foundation we stand upon. Oh, and hello, beautiful ones out there. I'm Reverend Sandy Moore from the In Spirit Center in Mission Viejo, and we're here to honor our practitioners and our ministerial graduates and all that it has taken for them to be here today, and it takes all of us. That's why we're all here cheering and rooting for this moment. And we know that it takes a village. And we want to honor the family and friends of these practitioner and ministerial graduates that have given cushions and wings to all of the students to bring them right where they are today. So since our graduates have not done this alone, we're going to start thanking the people that have been here as the beautiful support system. So I'd like to invite all family members, friends, mentors, and partners of the graduates who have been there to support them along the way in their studies, and having to be very kind and very patient many times along the journey. Will you please stand so we can honor and recognize your hard work? Woo! Beautiful, thank you. It's tangible, that support, it's beautiful. Education, as Dr. Kathy said, is such an important part of this movement. Ernest Holmes said, teach, practice, practice, teach. That's what we're here for. It's all we're meant to do, and we're doing just that. So we want to honor the people that have been in our education program and are really uplifting the consciousness of the world by doing their individual parts. So to begin with, I'd like to ask all the teachers who have been part of the practitioner and ministerial education and the teaching assistants to stand. Those of you that have been the leaders and the guides. Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you. And besides our graduates today, we have many Science of Mind students that are in the room today. Centers for Spiritual Living has many certified classes, accredited classes, that leads right here to the graduations we're celebrating today. Foundations, Beyond Limits, Essential Ernest Holmes, Treatment and Meditation, Power of Your Word, Practical Mysticism, Financial Freedom, and many, many more. So all of you that have completed classes at your centers this year, would you stand that we can honor and recognize your growing consciousness? Beautiful. Excellent, thank you. And those of you that have finished year one of PRAC training, PRAC 1, have gotten to stand up. We want to honor and recognize you. Woo! And dear ones, we look forward to being here next year when you graduate to honor you. Thank you all for being here today.
It is my delight to introduce to you our guest musician for today. Denise Rosier is a contemporary inspirational artist and an award-winning singer, songwriter, and producer. She has released 4 solo albums and licensed her music for TV. Her inspirational albums, One Heart and Every Day, have won 4 Positive Music Awards. She is also a staff writer for the Songs of Love Foundation and has written songs for over 300 terminally ill and special needs children. Yeah. Our ministerial grads chose Denise to be here today, and we are very blessed to have her with us. Let us welcome Denise Rosier.
Wow, hello. First of all, ministerial graduates, I cannot tell you what an honor it is to be here to sing for you today. So thank you so much for having me here. This is just wonderful. Thank you, Seaside, for having me. I don't know if you could tell by looking at me, but I am not a very sporty person. And so, you know, one of the things that I always wanted to do, I had this goal. One goal that I wanted to reach in my life was I wanted to accomplish one sporty thing. And so for me, that was a 5K. I thought, I'm going to actually run a 5K. And then once I decided I was going to do it, I started freaking out because I had no idea how. I thought, how am I going to run a 5K? I don't know anybody who you know, does this. And so I talked to a friend of mine. I did find one person. My friend Steven, he ran marathons. And so I was like, Steven, I don't know, how do I prepare for a 5K? And he goes, the first thing he said was, Denise, it's 3 miles. I think you're gonna be okay. And the second thing he said was, you know what? He goes, here's what runners usually do, and I want you to keep this in mind. He said, feel your feet. He said, don't think about how far you've come. Don't think about how far you have left to go. Pay attention to where your feet are. Feel your feet. And so I turned on my headphones on that 4th of July back in 2005, and I just started running. And I just started looking at where I was, and I paid attention, and I realized that it was probably like 40 minutes later, but I had run the whole way. And so one of the things that I thought about while I was running was, I think there's a song in here. And I just wanted to encourage you that whatever it is that you set out to do, feel your feet. Don't think about how much time you've put into what you're doing and how long is it going to take until I finally reach that goal that I have my mind set on, or how much farther until the finish line. How much longer do I have to do this until I can give up my job or until I can finish my studies? Just feel your feet and enjoy where you are and accept the blessing of every single day and greet every day with a hallelujah. Running till my bones are aching, pushing past the point of breaking. The road is long, but I will make it, that's who I am. It's not this race, but how I'm running, not who I was, who I'm becoming. Steady on, I'll finish strong on this path. My strength, I'm never stranded, I'm not alone. I'm calling out like a siren, a good and peace and joy resounding. Hear me now, I'm ringing out around the world. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. In every song I sing, in every part of me, in everything. Hallelujah. 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 Let's sing it, ministers. Hallelujah. 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 Every breath in me proclaims hallelujah. Today, thank you. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you so much, Denise. That was fun. So we're here now to honor and recognize our new class of spiritual practitioners. Yeah. Licensed practitioners have a very important role and place in our spiritual organization. Our practitioners are trained to see with the eye behind the eyes. In other words, to see with spiritual vision that can see the divinity and the wholeness in people regardless of circumstances, situations, and challenges, and then help those traits, those aspects, those deep truths of being to come forth into expression. The call to be a practitioner is, first of all, a call to bring spiritual practice into every single area of one's life, to prove the principles, and then to begin to aid others in doing the same work of letting go of the false and claiming the true. All ministers within our organization are practitioners first, and we think of ourselves that way. Practitioner consciousness is the foundation of all of the spiritual and healing work that we do. And so it is with love and great appreciation that we celebrate these students today who have studied so hard and well the practice and the art and the craft of the practitioner. They have gone through many transformations, yes? So many stories there. And they have done lots of service at their centers, yes? And so they've done all of this to stand here before you today and to graduate from their training. Today they stand at a threshold. They are waiting for exams and exam results and then paneling, but very soon, very, very soon, they will step into the role of being licensed practitioners of Centers for Spiritual Living. Yeah. And standing with them today is Reverend Juanita Gardner, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about her. Reverend Juanita began practicing the teachings of the science of mind in the early 70s after hearing Dr. Bill Hornaday and Dr. Frank Richelieu on the radio. She became a practitioner in 2002 at the Agape International Spiritual Center and was ordained a minister at the City of Angels Church in 2005. She joined the Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living in 2006, where she currently serves as the lead practitioner. She is a perennial student and is passionate about facilitating practitioner classes and book studies. And what I want to add personally about Reverend Juanita is that when I hear her speak, And when I hear her pray, I feel like I'm sitting next to the deepest well of truth and love. And so I wanted to share her with you today. Let us welcome Reverend Juanita Gardner.
Wow. That was so amazing. So, I'll just get started. As practitioners, we're called to love, to be the presence, to be of service, to live, act, and speak from the awareness of our oneness with God and our oneness with all humanity. We are to be a transparency for spirit. Preparing for this talk, many quotes came to my mind that support and inspire me to make choices from the perspective of oneness. It is my desire that these quotes will inspire and support the graduates in answering the call. Ernest Holmes writes that the practitioner's work begins and ends in his or her own consciousness. Indigenous people say, when you heal yourself, you heal 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. I like to think that the work I do to heal myself not only heals all my ancestors, but also my descendants, and also contributes to a world that works for everyone. The Emerson quote serves as a reminder. He says, God would not have his work made manifest by cowards. It takes courage and fortitude to live and make choices based on oneness, the awareness that God is all there is. To trust, to act as if God is all, in all, and through all, even when our human eyes or experiences appear to deny or contradict that spiritual truth. To declare that in the appearing good times and the appearing bad times, God and only God. In our grief, in our laughter, and in our tears, when our candidate is elected or when he's not elected or she's not elected. God and only God. The list could go on ad infinitum. In all circumstances, we are called to bloom where we are planted. One of my favorite quotes from Ernest Holmes is on the law of attraction. He writes, this is really wonderful. From selfish reasons alone, if from no loftier reason, we cannot afford to find fault, to hate, or even to hold in mind anything against any living soul. These words remind me that this is a reciprocal universe, and what we give out returns to us like a boomerang. They also remind me to forgive. Forgiving and releasing others from their mistakes, I trust that I will equally be forgiven for mine. From Marianne Williamson, we are encouraged to fully express the glory of God within us. She writes, it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Another favorite from Holmes is what he said about Jesus. Whether you see him as Savior, the master teacher, the way shower, or what I perceive as the ultimate role model. Humble in his humanity, compassionate in his tenderness, understanding the frailties of the human mind, he let the Great Spirit speak through him in words of love and sympathy. This is a reminder to me to treat people as if I knew their story. Even though we are spiritually whole, perfect, and complete, we're all wounded healers. We have all been hurt or betrayed, and we have all hurt or betrayed another. To practice oneness in our area of influence is how we contribute to a world that works for everyone. From the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, I hear the call for every practitioner. The words that summarize the prayer for me are, God, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying to self that one awakens to eternal life. I would be disingenuous if I didn't say something about self-care or self-acceptance. My desire for spiritual affection can cause me to want to overlook my humanness. I was reminded that no matter how spiritual I become, I will never rise above being human in this incarnation. I will close with this quote from one of Martin Luther King's mentors, Howard Thurman, who wrote, I want to be more loving in my heart, that with unconscious awareness and deliberate intent, I shall be a kind, a gracious human being. Those who walk the way with me will find it easier to love, to be gracious, because of the love of God, which is increasingly expressed in my living. I acknowledge that by your graduation today, you have answered the call and said yes to this high calling to love and to be of service. I now invite you to listen to these words, also by Thurman, as though you were saying them to yourself. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that I may not forget that to which my life is committed. And so it is. So it is.
So wonderful. Thank you, Reverend Juanita. And so every year at graduation, we invite our participating centers to nominate someone from their graduating class to represent all of the practitioners by answering the practitioner call. A drawing is held, and we do a really legitimate drawing, by the way, just in case you've ever wondered. Sometimes we're surprised at how it goes, but it's always exactly right. So this year, we are absolutely delighted to welcome Dana Vogt to answer the call on behalf of the graduating practitioners. Dana is a graduate of the CSL Online Education Program and is a member here at Seaside. She visits many centers accompanying her partner, Michael Paul Smith, to his singing engagements. Recently, she retired from a 39-year career in the airline industry and is looking forward to her full-time professional practitioner expression. Let us welcome Dana Lee Vogt.
Thank you to all my children standing up. Oh, I'm so honored. Wow. To stand before you on behalf of all the practitioner graduates graduating from our studies this afternoon. I know they would all agree that this process is life-changing, rigorous, and a courageous step in opening our hearts and souls. It is not for the faint of heart, and we all grew in ways that often surprised us. But really, the call to practitioner is one we all answered yes to many years before most of us knew that a practitioner is what we came here to be. We are the nurturers, the teachers, the social workers, the volunteers, the moms who mom more, the dads who dad more. We stand up and reach out, determined to make a difference. We are the ones who stop for the accident, who ensure the lost child finds their parent at the mall. We unload the elder person's shopping cart. We bring love into the world in small and large ways. We fill professions which require that drive to reach out and help, direct, to mentor, to empower. We feel compelled to say all those little yeses. I know that for me, from an early age, my own mother told me, some kids bring home stray pets, but you bring home stray people. I did. As students of the science of mind, we know that Ernest Holmes slowly came to embrace the ideas of ministers and churches as a way to spread and keep alive the principles of science of mind. But there have always been practitioners. From the very start of the Institute of Religious Science way back in 1927, there have always been practitioners. We are, the heart of this teaching. At the core of our acceptance of the call to practitioner is love. We are called to know love, to share love, to remind others that they are loved, to affirm that love is our connection to the divine. Recently, I was inspired by a sermon on love, which was delivered by Bishop Michael Curry at a televised wedding a few of you might have seen. There, with an enormous audience of worldwide viewers, Bishop Curry articulated the power of love, reminding us that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King proclaimed, we must discover the power of love, the redemptive power of love. And when we do that, we will make of this whole world a new world. But love is the only way. Bishop Curry went on to say, think and imagine a world where love is the way. Imagine our homes and our families where love is the way. Imagine neighborhoods and communities where love is the way. Governments and nations where love is the way. Business and commerce where love is the way. Because when love is the way, we actually treat each other, well, like family. When love is the way, we know that God is the source of us all. And we are called to be that love, to meet any illusion of separation with love, inclusion, and the knowledge of our wholeness. We know that wholeness for ourselves and for all others we seek to make this a world that works for all. That is the healing power of love, and that is the practitioner path that we say yes to today. So I believe this journey to practitioner is a profound experience of traveling from all the smaller yeses to that big yes, that sacred yes. The past 4 years have been spent supporting one another to work through all the little no's, moving forward through hesitation. It takes candor and bravery. It takes a community of incredible instructors and classmates. Big change happens when a lot of little changes come together. It's the ripple from the pebble that moves across the water to form a wave. And many of us have experienced some mighty waves in this ocean of life. Several have survived tsunamis. A wise one once said, God doesn't call the qualified, she qualifies the called. We've been qualified. All of us have come through these life experiences with a drive to serve, to know not only our own divinity, but to assist others in recognizing and honoring their divinity. It took a community of love in the form of our instructors, our classmates, our own practitioners, our spiritual mentors, our families. Thank you, sweetheart, to bring us to this place today. I'm reminded of a story I read recently in Science of Mind magazine about the mighty redwoods. Redwood trees are known for their majestic height and beauty. Mature redwoods can grow as tall as a 35-story building. But did you know their roots go down only 5 or 6 feet? Their strength to endure the strongest windstorms or floods comes from the fact that they grow in groves. Their roots interlock with other redwood trees in that grove, making them incredibly strong and resilient, sometimes lasting thousands of years. A lone redwood would not last. And so it has been with this path of the practitioner. We have been made strong by our roots of connection one to another. Our interconnected roots have allowed us to grow and uncover our spiritual maturity in ways which I believe we could not have grown alone. The redwoods teach us that in our unity, we are one. So we stand before you as proof that this teaching changes not only our lives, but all that we touch, and we know it. It's powerful. I can attest to the transformation of one life, mine. We've all heard the call to serve. We said yes to being broken open and transformed. We are experiencing that power. We are living that reminder from Ernest Holmes. There is a power greater than you are, and you can use it. You are surrounded by a creative intelligence that receives the impress of your thought and acts on it. Simple. Knowing what a powerful transformation this has made in our lives, we are called to witness that light in others. Many of us are called to places or experiences that stretch us and can scare us a bit. But if your dreams don't scare you, they are definitely not big enough. My own favorite spiritual mentor, Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, said, "You have been called for a time such as this. There are no large or small issues. What we need now are courageous deliverers of the new thought, the higher wisdom, the divine perspective. You are that compassionate spiritual leader who can take the abstract vision and make it relevant for the people around you." So we say yes to the practitioner call, yes, a sacred yes. The world is waiting for our light, which dissolves any illusion of the dark or the broken and affirms our divinity. As President Barack Obama once said, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Namaste.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And so we're going to begin the honoring of our practitioner graduates. And we will proceed center by center in the order listed in the program. And the assistants will invite you to line up. In fact, our first group can begin to be lining up right over on the side. And I was hoping somebody was guiding you, but you're going there. That's perfect. And just wait right there. Thank you. I also will be inviting up to the platform the ministers and the teachers of the center to acknowledge their students. And then one by one, the practitioner graduates of that center will walk across the stage. And please get hugs and receive your diploma, and then walk back down this direction. Thank you, Catherine, to your seats. So are you ready? What's that? Oh. So we're ready to welcome the practitioner graduates from the Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley, Dr. Catherine Nicodemo, Senior Minister and Lead Instructor. And we also welcome up Beth Haas and Sherry Sorbo. Right. And here they are, Janie Power Curry. Jody L. Henrick. Thelma C. Rusak. And Dawn Taylor. And now we'd like to welcome up to the side there the Centers for Spiritual Living Online Practitioner Education Group. Dr. Christina Tillotson, Dean, and instructor Reverend Robert Brzezinski. We're ready for Lahoma Abdus Salam from CSL Dallas. Shelley Marie Dill from CSL Eugene. Kathy Greer Gonzalez from Center for Spiritual Awareness, Sacramento. Amber Henning, Center for Spiritual Awareness, Sacramento. Jim Huntley, CSL, San Jose. David Lemaster, Light on the Mountain, CSL, Idaho. William E. Norman, Hampton Roads, CSL, Virginia Beach, Florida. Tony Mason Shannon, Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. And Dana Lee Vogt, Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. And we have somebody who's checking in by Facebook to walk. Are we ready for that? David Sills from Laurel, Maryland. Not happening. All right. Let's say yay, David. Very good. And we also have another graduate from this group who is not able to be here tonight, Lori Gertz. Let's say yay, Lori. All right. Very nice. Thank you so much. And so our next group is from Founders Church of Religious Science in Los Angeles. I invite up Dr. Arthur Chang and instructors Vincent Reed, Dr. Joe Doty, and Pat Gentry. So come on up. And the graduates, Temis C. de la Peña Wing. And Viviana Harvey. And now our group from Universal Center for Spiritual Living. No, Universal Spirit Center. Spent a lot of time there, actually. Welcoming up Reverend Kevin Busey, Senior Minister and Instructor, and other instructors, Donna Girardi, Christine Thompson, Assistants Milch Alcorn, Tony Seha, Eliza Talbot. If you're here, come on up. And our graduates, Lydia Joy Ayers. And Sharonda G. Morris. And we have another graduate in this group who is not able to be here today. That's Darmini Cabanillas. And I invite up her husband, Carlos, to come and receive the honors and acknowledgement for his beloved wife. Carlos, come on up. How are you doing? I'm good. Please give Darmini all our love and acknowledgement. Thank you, everybody. And Vision, the Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Patty Paris, Senior Minister and Instructor. Teaching Assistants, Nana Griesky and Marianne Downs. And it is a joy to honor and recognize Micah Leslie. And Tracy Smith. and Ty Smith. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And I'd like to welcome up again the Senior Minister of Universal Spirit Center to give a blessing for our new practitioners. Here's Reverend Kevin Busey.
Graduates, congratulations. You have made it to this point. We are so happy you are here. We've been calling you and we're waiting for you to shine your light to the world. Thank you for, on behalf of all the people, all the thousands of people you will inspire and touch and whose lives you will transform. I thank you. I thank you for your hard work. I thank you for your spiritual practice and for your yes. So while we are not near the seventh inning, let's all do a seventh inning stretch. I'm going to invite you all to stand, except for the practitioner graduates. Please stay seated. So let's stand and let's face the practitioner graduates. And let's extend our hands in blessings. And practitioner graduates, I invite you to open your minds, relax your bodies, and breathe into your heart. And receive this blessing. For we witness in you the presence and the power of this one life, God, expressing through you and through your call and your yes to become a practitioner. We witness it, we join you in this yes, and we know that the power of this divine life flows through you as a healing energy, touching all of those you encounter. And gathered community, let's know this together on behalf of these practitioner graduates as we say. And so it is. Amen.
The stretch was good. Thank you. And so it is a great joy now to open up the ministerial ceremony by which we formally acknowledge the completion of the training of our 11 ministerial graduates and our 1 master's graduate. And I want to take a moment to speak to them, first to our 11 ministerial graduates. So one of the things I learned from Dr. Catherine Economo as I stepped into the dean's position that she had held is that every graduating class has its own very special character and identity. And that is indeed true about your group. I don't have a facile name for you at all. But what I want to say is, first of all, you're a powerful group of 11 women, and each of you is her own woman. You are strong, you are highly individualized, you are very unique, and you are very determined, right? Yes. You have been a fascinating group to work with and to try to do consensus work with as well. You have your visions and your plans for ministry. You are moving ahead with them with great resolve, and I'm quite sure you will not let anyone or anything get in the way of what it is that you want to do. There's one remarkable moment that I will always remember, and that was at the end of your senior service at Spring Retreat. And there was in that moment an induction of energy and a transmission of energy that I still can't explain, but it was there. And it is testimony to the power of spirit that you have moving through you, each one of you individually, but all of you collectively. It was something very special and remarkable. And so it has been a great joy to watch you transform into ministers, to know the great service that you have been doing in your centers, because I've been reading your internships and practica, to know all that you have been doing at your centers, really fine, important work. And it is that level of work and joy and contribution that you will be offering to our world. And so we are grateful. So you are ready for this step as you receive your degrees. Your vision is high. Your consciousness is prepared. You have already proven that you can take on a mighty work. To get here, that is indeed so. You are bright with ministerial promise. You have fulfilled the extreme demands of the ministerial path, the ministerial training path, with classes and practica and papers, internships, retreats, and all of that service. And you have done this while you have balanced your work in the world and the requests and the requirements of family and your own shifts and changes in your personal lives. So you have done a remarkable job. You have answered the call of God on your life. And your theme for this graduation is dancing in the light. And to me, that means that I know that you understand the true nature of the spiritual life, which is exactly that. And it is actually the true nature of the path of ministry, even though we don't always experience it that way. You have committed yourself to this life and to this path that you are on. You have agreed to be an open portal through which Spirit is working as you work for the greater revelation of love and good on earth. And so in crossing this threshold of graduation today, it is an invitation for you to evermore go deeply into the divine truth of your being, to live the life of God in your unique way. I'm sure you will do that, and to serve the awakening of humankind in all that you do. And I want to take a moment to thank all of the family members and friends of these graduates for your great generosity and patience in supporting them along the path of their true calling. Your love and your commitment are how they are here today. Your love and your commitment are how they are here today. And so thank you, graduates, for the great blessing that you have been in my life, for the ways in which you have blessed our school. You reveal the power, the beauty, the strength, the courage, and the faith that come, and the intense and beautiful sense of purpose when we decide to dance with our souls and answer the call of the heart. So many, many blessings to you. And Michael Brandman, there you are over there. Glad to have you in our group today. I acknowledge you for completing the Master's in Consciousness degree, and we're very happy that you are here with us. We acknowledge your degree attainment in this way, and we thank you for accompanying and supporting your beloved wife, Pam, whom you are sitting next to in her ministerial journey. It's probably a very wise thing that only one of you is becoming a minister in the family. But even more than all of that, Michael, thank you so much for highlighting and being a visible representative today of the parts of our CSL spiritual education program by which somebody may engage in advanced learning and advanced awakening without becoming a minister. So thank you so much for that. And so before we go any further, I'd like to invite back Denise Rosier for a musical gift for all of the graduates. Let's welcome Denise.
I think it was probably about a year ago, and Leslie and I were pinging each other, and I found out that she was listening to my album as she was driving to Seaside, and I said, "Don't you live in Arizona?" And when I thought about that, I was in such awe and reverence for that dedication. And ever since then, you guys don't realize it, but I've been thinking about you, ministers and practitioners, and thinking about how fortunate and how blessed the people who will encounter you will be. I'm so excited for them, and I don't even know who those people are going to be. But the amount of dedication and commitment that all of you ministers and practitioners have toward the goodness of others and toward Spirit is just amazing. And it really brings home how we don't have to be celebrities or elected officials to forward good and love and peace into the world. You guys are going to do it from the pulpit. Some of us do it from the classroom, and some of us do it from our offices, and all of us have a chance to do it from around the dinner table. we as people, we can forward love and peace and good. I am one, simple and plain, no superpowers, no famous name, but I stand tall, 'cause I believe something greater has come alive inside of me, and I have felt the Spirit stirring in my soul, deep in my soul. I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I am one, but I'm not alone. When I'm with you, I am home. Side by side, we find the truth. When the Spirit in me meets the same in you, and I have felt this fire burning in my soul, deep in my soul, and I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, in a world where so many feel lost, in a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I know God.
And so, esteemed guests, it is my honor to introduce the graduating class of 2018. I will invite each of the graduates to the platform with designated family and friends to place on them their stole or their hood. And graduates, as you receive your stole or your hood, please just pause for a moment and take a breath and feel your grand accomplishment and the acknowledgement that is here in the room for you. Reverend Sharon will hand you a diploma. We'll all get to hug. And then graduates, please take your seats up on the platform and follow the first one who goes. And so the very first group of graduates are receiving the Certificate in Spiritual Studies and the Certificate in Ministerial Education. And so I invite to the platform Joy Lovejoy. She's accompanied by Reverend Michelle Ingalls and by her husband, Keith Baldwin. And Rebecca, did you want to come up? Okay, wonderful. Joy, Joy, honey? You just graduated. And Rebecca Venkatraman. I invite up also her husband Ajit, son Drew, and daughter Victoria. And receiving a Certificate in Consciousness Studies and the Certificate in Ministerial Education, Nicole Von Atzingen, accompanied by Reverend Michael Heinley, soon-to-be husband, Laura Summers, mom, Haley Pritchard, daughter, and Gabriel Acuna, son. And receiving the Certificate in Spiritual Education and Certificate in Ministerial Education, Victoria Bomberry, accompanied by, big family group here, accompanied by sons Benjamin, Dane, and William, and Reverend Jerry Hobby. And now welcoming up Rosedale Jones with daughters Cassandra and Brea, grandsons Kevin and Isaiah, and Dr. Christian Sorensen. And now welcoming up Karen Lewis, her husband Warner Lewis, Sarah Johnson, and Dr. Michelle Medrano. And now receiving the Master's in Consciousness Studies and Certificate in Ministerial Education, Pam Cosme Brandman, accompanied by husband Michael Brandman, daughter Gabriella, and son Elliot. We welcome up now Sonia Byrne, accompanied by Reverend Laura Hallett, Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, and Lee Armentrout. And now welcoming up Caroline Flanders with spouse Michael Flanders, mother Anna Zellner, and Reverend Rhonda Tretzvin. And welcoming now Leslie Goodwin, her husband Bobby Olander, Dr. Penny Masick, Reverend Kathleen Sibley, and Reverend Jeffrey Ryan. Grow up so quickly. And welcoming now Kim Jera Whittington, her husband Brent Whittington, and Reverend Christian Sorensen. And receiving the Master's in Consciousness Studies degree, Michael Brandman, accompanied by wife Pam Cosme Bradman and sons Jason, Joshua, Jake, and Jordan. It's good that way. Wonderful. Let's take a moment to acknowledge all of our graduates. Beautiful. Each year, the ministerial graduates invite a minister who inspires them to give them the call to ministry. This year, the graduates have chosen Dr. Michelle Medrano. Dr. Michelle is a career minister. She obtained her ministerial degree at the School of Ministry at Mile High Church in 1991. And most of her years since then were in Phoenix, Arizona, where she served as the senior minister of New Vision Center. In 2013, she was invited to Mile High Church in Lakewood, Colorado, where she is the senior associate minister. And she brings her many years of experience in a successful ministry and her years of powerful service in our international denomination to support her home center. To give the call to ministry, let us welcome Dr. Michelle Medrano.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here today to present this call, and much of what I would like to speak to you has truly been spoken of and woven through this beautiful ceremony, and I don't know how I'll possibly do it in the 2 hours I have to speak. But I'll get by somehow. I'm a big fan of love songs. I really loved love songs, and I love love. And often when I listen to love songs, I find that they are a bunch of codependent dribble. And, but the way I get around that is I often imagine life, God, source, singing that song to me, the universe, the one verse. And so as I've imagined this moment of us here together, I have imagined, well, what if I could be the voice that God is calling to you wonderful ministers and speaking on behalf of that. And then I realized, well, we teach oneness, so like I am, the voice of oneness. So, keeping that in mind, here is the call that I invite you into. First of all, I acknowledge that you have answered the call. You've answered it, and you have demonstrated your willingness to answer that call by the work that you have already completed and done. The hard work, the inner work, the outer work, the school work, the personal work, all of that work is part of how you have demonstrated to me, the infinite one within you, that you have said yes. And now the work continues. The call continues. Now I continue to invite you daily to tend to that call that you've said yes to. That it is literally your professional code now to daily tend to and presence yourself to that call. On the days you want to, on the days you don't, on the days when you're not so sure of yourself. You are here now to tend to that call every single day through your spiritual practice, through your inner work, through the continuous cultivation of consciousness, which is the work of the minister and the practitioner. It is to be that. So tend to that call every day. I also continue to call you to be a shining light, to shine the light that you are, the light that you felt, the light that we are together in everything you are and everything you do. To remember that no matter how dark it may ever appear to be, that even if all of the lights are turned out, the human eye still cannot see the spectrum of the fullness of light that is available in this universe. And it is the same for us as spiritual leaders. No matter how dark it gets in our world, no matter how dark it gets in your personal life, remember the call to shine the light that you and I have agreed to, and continue to shine no matter what. And remember to stand as a living example of the wellspring of life that you and I are together. I urge you to remember that what I just said is a living example of the wellspring of life, not necessarily a living example of how fabulous you are, how amazing your ego self is, although I, as God in form, adore you. My beloved, I am well pleased by who and what you are. Continue to shine who you are in that beautiful dance of light that you have chosen for this theme, to be this beautiful experience of who we are together. God in form as minister. And lastly, love. Be love. Be love to yourself, to your beloveds, to all of our brothers and sisters on this planet. Be love in the grocery store. Be love on the freeways, for God's sake. Be love on the freeways. Be love in your church. Be love in your talks. Be love in your prayers. Because when it comes down to what I have called you to do and be, it is love. And that's all that really matters. I call you to this and so much more. And on behalf of myself, Michelle Medrano, and all of our colleagues and our world, I thank you. I love each one of you. I have such high hopes for our world because you have chosen this high calling of ministry. I thank you. I honor you. You have been called, you have been chosen, and you make us so proud. Thank you.
Our ministerial graduates have selected one of their own to answer the call, and that is Leslie Goodwin. And Leslie is from the New Vision Center for Spiritual Living in Phoenix, Arizona. She's been actively involved in leadership at the center and has even moved into a more important role at this time as the center is between ministers. And above all of that, she is a wonderful musician, a singer, and a songwriter, and has a whole slew of kids in her house. And so speaking on behalf of all of the ministerial graduates to answer the call, let's welcome Leslie Goodwin.
So my husband and I have 5 kids, mostly grown now, and it is a topic that gets joked about quite a lot. People have asked me a number of times if I came to ministerial school to hide from them all. I have 5 kids and I'm fiercely independent. So what that meant was that as I started the School of Ministry, I thought, I got this. One hand tied behind my back, blindfolded, on my own, no help, don't need it, it's fine, I got this. Famous last words. But what I've learned through this program, through the School of Ministry, is that nothing happens in a vacuum. No one does it alone. Certainly none of us have gotten to graduation by ourselves. Everything is communal. So as I spoke with my beloved classmates, as I invited them to share with me what they would like to hear today, this is what came together of the things we've figured out along the way. Thank you to our partners, our families, and our friends for holding us up through these years, for doing more than your share of the dishes, for listening to us rant about whatever had pushed our buttons in that moment, and still encouraging us to persevere. Thank you to our children for recognizing that after a lifetime of being put first, it was Mom's turn to chase her own dreams, and for being willing to take a back seat for a little while for the greater good. Thank you to the professors, the registrars, the mentoring ministers who've taken time out of their unbelievably busy lives to coach us through this beautiful and volatile time. Thank you for scraping us off the floor and stapling us back together when necessary, for encouraging us and believing in us and inspiring us every step of the way, for treating us with respect, and for showing us how the pros do it with grace and style and so much joy. A deep thank you to Dr. Kathy Hearn, our fearless leader and apparently high priestess. I've heard it said that Dr. Kathy drops little truth bombs everywhere she goes, and it is true. I might have pushed her button, but I did not install it. You are here to be a reliable context of spiritual truth. And woe to the student who heard, "This cannot be." Dr. Kathy, you are the voice inside our heads. And we love you very much. Most essentially, we have come to the grateful recognition that nothing we do will ever be a solo endeavor, for it all takes place within the context of the infinite one, the infinite presence, acting in and through and as us for the highest and best of all humanity. It is a joy and an honor to represent this amazing class. To you I say, you are each beautiful and unique with your own special brand of genius. Be who you are. Be all of who you are. I agree with Reverend Howard Thurman when he said what the world needs is more people who have come alive. And you are brilliantly alive. And I thank you. It is really interesting to be representing this beautiful class of 11 women as we've gone through this final year of ministerial school together. In this cultural climate, it's been crazy. It's been interesting. It's been wonderful. It's been said that our class isn't very diverse, but I disagree. We are white, Latina, African American, Indigenous, First Nations, and Native American. We've worked in law enforcement, engineering, business, finance, healthcare, education, the arts. In our years together, we've submitted homework from 4 continents. And a lot of that was Sonia. We range in age from 34 to, we don't need to talk about that. We've mothered and stepmothered 32 children and been mother figures to countless more. We are straight, we are bisexual, we are on the spectrum, we are exploring. We are. This diversity represents the future of Centers for Spiritual Living. We're the microcosm of the macrocosm. And yet, many of us have been discouraged from following this ministerial path somewhere along the way because we didn't fit somebody's idea of what a CSL minister should look like. Too old, too young, too political, not political enough, too conservative, too liberal, too controversial, too brash, in my case, a little too loud. I myself was once told, you can't go to ministerial school. Who will take care of your kids? But if we're as serious about diversity as we say we are, then it is incumbent upon us to do better, to make sure that every person from every walk of life that walks into a Center for Spiritual Living sees themselves represented in our leadership. I personally feel immeasurably blessed that my first CSL minister was a youngish woman, funny, wildly authentic, and a little irreverent. Looking at her example, I could see that there was a place for someone like me in the ministry of this movement. Thank you, Dr. Michelle. Thank you for reminding me and all of us time and again that Spirit has need for us exactly as we are, or we wouldn't be called. Every growing spiritual leader needs that message. We're a philosophy that embraces people that don't feel that they're reflected anywhere else in society. And there's more than enough room for all of us in the ministry of CSL. For every political preference, for every race, for every nationality, for every form of sexual expression, for everyone. There is a space in this movement. And so to the ministers in the room, I implore you, do your best not to limit future spiritual leaders to what has gone before. Be open to the new. We're on the cutting edge of consciousness. So it makes sense that our growing spiritual leaders look like something we've never seen before. To our fellow ministerial students that are still walking this path, here's our parting wisdom. Surrender everything. Remember that the goal is to develop ministerial consciousness, not to graduate on a specific day or get a perfect score. Everything that happens, all the homework, all the classes, all the travel, all the internships, all of it is simply a catalyst for the work that's happening in our souls. Soak this time up. Soak up the friendships, get to know yourself, and wear smooth your rough edges. As my yoga teacher says, there's nowhere to go. You're already here. To the practitioners in the room who even made this moment be feeling the pull of the ministerial call, we offer this advice. Give yourself the space to live in the question. Let the call pull you. Don't worry about when or how or where the money's gonna come. When Spirit is driving the bus, all things are provided. Just be open, and the miracles will occur for you. And to every beloved in this room, we offer this invitation. Question more. Question from a place of deep intellectual curiosity. Why do you believe what you believe? What do other people believe? Why do they believe that? What assumptions are underlying those beliefs? Resist the desire and the easiness of just repeating opinions you've heard. Do your own research. Do your own study. The possibility of having a new thought does not come from sameness. And as we know in this teaching, one new thought changes everything. Thank you.
Now I'd like to invite up someone who is very special to all of us here around Seaside. He is the senior minister of Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. He is also the director of our School of Spiritual Leadership here in San Diego. And it is because of his commitment and his generosity that we have a ministerial training program here. He has been the instructor to these 11 graduates. Let us welcome Dr. Christian Sorensen.
Dr. Kathy, you did good. Wow. To these wild 11 who have been dancing in the light, there is spirit in you, there is twinkle, there is fire, there is passion. And truly, Reverend Leslie, oh my goodness, and what a speaker you are. That was very good. And so, as I look upon all of you, I'm filled with great excitement. I realize you are what the answer to prayer looks like. We have been praying and praying for the future of this movement, and here you are, ready to take this wisdom, this moment, and these ideas into the future. Some of you will take this message and this moment, these teachings decades out, places where some of us will never see. And I'm excited to know that I'll be looking through your eyes and that I get to stand here in this moment as if it is a bridge to the possibility that exists. And so I've been asked to call forth God's blessings. And so as Rev Kev so wonderfully had us do, let's raise our hands, open our hearts, and pour forth these blessings to this wonderful graduating class of 2018, the new ministerial breed of this movement coming forth. For truly the blessings of God is upon this moment. For these individuals have danced through the light. They have basked in the glory of the divine, and truly their face shines, for if they have been with the presence of God, for they have been there, they have felt it, they are that. And so what I know right now is the divine goes before these individuals, making those crooked ways straight, empowering these individuals with everything that they may ever need. For truly the blessings of the grace are upon these individuals who have said yes to this call. For this they have come into this world to be and to do, and for this they are well prepared. And what I know right now is as they step forth into those tenuous places, they will discover more that is within them than they have ever known. For the blessings of God is upon their ministries. This movement is blessed because of their blessing and their grace and their yes. And so we stand witness to this day, this graduation, this commencement, this new beginning, not only for these individuals, not only for our movement, for humanity as a whole, for this diverse crowd of the divine expression where the God divine has touched down as these individuals, they carry forth the blessings of God itself. And we look upon these individuals knowing that they are blessed, they are graced, they are God expressing. And so it is.
All right. And I have the page open to both sides. Now, now to do the official, I have words left in me. Now, for the official graduation decree, here is Reverend Sharon Hudson. You got to break that.
I have a 2-hour talk as well. Actually, I only have 3 things to say. You are the light. Aren't they shining in our practitioners? Whoa. So you know the song, but these words were just striking me during this whole ceremony today for our practitioner graduates and our ministerial graduates. You are the heart. You are the hands. You are the voice of Spirit on earth. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for saying yes. And one more thing came to me because everybody already said everything else I want to say. You should be grateful because I don't have to say it now. But I do want to say when you're walking this path of practitioner, serving others, minister, serving, putting your whole self and your whole heart out in the world in your own special ways, when stuff comes up, remember to pray for yourself. Sometimes we're busy taking care of other people and ask for help. And you can get my number right after the service. All right, and now. Oh, yeah, some of you do. They're on top of it. So this is the time we've been waiting for. I would like to ask the practitioner graduates to please stand and stay standing. By the power of God and the authority of the Centers for Spiritual Living vested in me, I do hereby declare the official completion of your practitioner training and the achievement of your new spiritual title of Practitioner of Truth. Just remain there. Now, ministerial graduates, if you will stand and remain standing. And Michael. Sorry. All of you. Master's degree too, right. And so, by the power of God and the authority vested in me by Centers for Spiritual Living, I do hereby declare the official completion of your training, ministerial and otherwise. I confer upon you as appropriate the degree of Master's in Consciousness Studies, the Certificate in Consciousness Studies, the Certificate in Spiritual Education, the Certificate in Spiritual Studies, and the Certificate in Ministerial Education. And I recognize each of you, including you, Michael, as a minister of truth. All graduates standing, you may now move your tassels to the other side. Congratulations. congratulations to us all, and you may be seated.
Thank you so much. That was perfect. And our choir's coming forward. Let's welcome them as they come. They've been so wonderful. You guys are good. And here's a song for all the graduates. We have just a few more things to do. One thing I would like to do is to invite you to the reception that takes place right after this ceremony when we complete. And also, if you are a licensed practitioner and something has stirred in your heart, you're starting to feel a call to a new level of service, and you might be thinking about being a minister, I invite you to open house this coming Saturday, June 9th, from 10 to 12, right here at Seaside. I'll be talking to you about the ministerial training program. We'll be joined by our registrar, Kathy Phelan, and it's an opportunity for you to hear about that program. Some of you are thinking about it. I can feel it. And also to learn about the non-minister master's program. We'll tell you information about that too. So please come and join us. And if you're interested in this but not able to attend next Saturday, there's a table in the other room for the School of Spiritual Leadership. And if you put your name and phone number on there, I'll be glad to give you a call. All right. So many people have created and supported our graduation today, and I'd like to just quickly say their names. Our ministerial student and volunteer leader, Brian Atkins. Thank you so much, Brian. Our ministerial students, Sarah Adams, Janet Bradbury, Rick Brown, Michael Kirkuyu, Sarah Forbes, Sherry Ganand, and Beverly Strutt. Thank you. Our beloved School of Spiritual Leadership Registrar, Kathy Phelan, who's sitting right over there. We love her very much. Our Practitioner 1 students, Marianne Barlow, Michelle DeGarris, and Rosemary Ramirez. And yes, let's hear them. Our staff angels, Linda Amerson and Joanne Millison. Our choir directors, Sasha Pizer and James Vandenberg, and the community choir members, thank you so much. Our band, Robert Mathis on Saxophone, James Forston on piano, Harley Magsino on bass, and Jerry Reba on drums. Thank you so much, guys. Sound and video, Ed Reeves, Melanie Bennett, Marv Goldsmith, and Tim Griffin. Thank you so much. Our setup, parking, and completion, Edwin Robinson, Marv Goldsmith, and Kevin Byvik. Thank you. And all of our amazing volunteers, I'm going to say all their names because they've been working hard. Patty Christensen, Glenn Johnson, Trudy McGrath, Trudy Seifke, David Yankauskas, Lori Kostenborder Jordan, Cassandra Furby, Robert Furby, Elaine Goldsmith, Deborah Heath, Betty Hoffman, Carolyn Holder, Ray Holder, Renee Hudak, Kathleen Lees, Dennis Mills, Kathy Nelson, Ellen Rice, Victoria Wood, Candace Young-Schulte, and special thanks to Deb Sadler for all her support. And if I missed anybody, please forgive me. Let's acknowledge everybody who served. All right. So in just a moment, we're going to have our benediction with Reverend Patty Paris. And after the music begins, after the benediction is complete, the recessional will take place in this order. And the request for you, first of all, is to allow all of the people in robes to move out of the room before you move out from your seats. Our ministerial graduates are going, and Michael, are going to go, are going to go first. Then the ministers from the platform, the ministers from the floor, the practitioner graduates, and then all the rest of you wonderful beings. And your graduates will see you in the garden. So thank you so much for being here today. Let's welcome up Reverend Patty Paris.
Bet you're looking forward for me, huh? Please join me in prayer. I know that God is. I know that God is that energy that beats my heart and breathes my breath. I know it is the energy that has placed the planets in its orbit, and it's that energy that has created the universe and continues to create. I know that energy is right here in this very room. It is in our breath. It is in our heartbeat. And it is in these beloved graduates. It is in the love that we have for them, just holding them up. And we know and accept that they have said yes to this sacred calling. They have stripped bare, they have broken open, and they stand here as undefended love. And we give great thanks for their service, for their sacred yes, and we look forward to the celebration. God is truly all there is. God is good in all ways, always. And so it is. Amen.